Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Rustic Oak Farm. Today I am excited to share my future plans for 2026. I've had this in my mind for like 8 years, and I've actually just been quite busy this past year selling vegetables in a couple towns over. My husband had 2 to 3 jobs that he was doing, so that's just really kept me from moving forward. So this has just been a slow process. We are going to be opening up a farm stand here at our house, and I think for one day we will travel this whole thing to town. And my grandma, she sits on the main road in our hometown, so it'll get a lot more traffic when we take it to town. We live about 11 miles outside of town, way out in the country. I actually opened for 2 days back in November. I just was so excited. I wanted to see how well it would start, which actually the first 2 days went really well. I actually opened up a third day, which I was totally dead. Nobody came. It was on a Tuesday, so I know better to probably open on a Tuesday out here. So I need to figure out my schedule for 2026. So I'll be selling garden vegetables, baked goods. I just love doing all the things. So who knows what's going to be in this farm stand as the years go. So like I said, we've been working on this for a really long time. We just have not been in a rush building this thing. And what was cool, my husband's third job, he actually got to bring a whole lot of this metal home for free. And this wood on the inside that you see here, my husband brings home pallets from his work, and we break them down, which takes a long time, and we take all the nails out of them, and then we use the wood to create our projects. We actually did our chicken house like this and our pig house. We broke down a bunch of pallets and built those buildings in our backyard. We did the exact same thing here with our farm stand to save some money, which I think what really cost us quite a bit was the frame that we put on the bottom for the wheels and tires. My husband did a really good job with welding all of that. He wanted to make it sure that it can withstand going down our long driveway, and our driveway is so bumpy, it gets washed out with the rain, and he wanted to make sure it was not going to fall apart whenever we move it down there. So I actually got this inspiration from a girl on Instagram. I really like how her farm stand turned out that her husband built for her, so I kind of went along the lines of kind of what her farm stand looked like. And like I said, I've always wanted to do something with gardening and baking for a really, really long time, probably like 8 years. Even though I've been gardening even longer than that, I know at my last house, I started getting inspired whenever we had our big garden, and I wanted to do something along these lines of selling my vegetables and eventually selling my baked goods. I love baking bread. It's one of my favorite things that I do. So now we are in a place out in the country, and we have the area where we put our garden in from scratch, and then now my husband has finally built me this stand, and I couldn't be more grateful to start this journey. It's actually pretty terrifying for me to open up a business out here at my house, just because I don't want to fail. I want to make sure I have the customers to make my time worth it. But I think next year, once it starts warming up again, I think my stand will do much better because it'll be a fresh year. It's not so cold out like it is right now, starting late in November. So I think I'll probably have better success next year because I totally opened in late season, which, you know, my first 2 days went really well. My third day was a fail, but you just live and learn. You try to figure out the times and dates and all that kind of stuff. So I will be playing around with all of that all winter long, trying to figure out the ins and outs of everything before I open again. So I actually made a mistake here. I have never put wallpaper up before, and I totally should have put the wallpaper up before we put these shelves on. That was such a pain in the butt. So I would not recommend the paint that I'm using here either. This is from Walmart. It's very cheap. I've noticed that I put quite a bit of coats on and it still fades and gets super dirty. So I think next spring I'm going to put a fresh coat of semi-gloss paint, of really good paint, because I want to be able to clean the inside of my stand every time I take my stand down to sell stuff, because I want everything to look fresh and clean. So I'm just using up the rest of this paint that I have here. And when I say use it up, I have used every bit of this paint up to cover all of the wood that I have here. So it just works for now. Since I opened up this past month, it works for now. It's clean, but definitely next year, I always put a fresh coat of paint on my chicken house and pig house anyways, so I'll use that same paint and freshen up this farm stand to keep everything nice and professional looking. So like I said, my husband wanted to make sure that this was going to be very sturdy going down our driveway, so we bought these really big wheels from Harbor Freight, and they're actually the cheapest that I could find from all the stores that I went around to, looking for these wheels and tires that can hold the weight of this stand, because it's absolutely heavy. So we actually made a mistake. We actually built the farm stand first before we built the frame to put the wheels and tires on. So now that we got the wheels and tires on the farm stand, it's really tall, and I'm very short, so I'm like 5'3", and I can't reach our top shelf anymore in the farm stand. So I need to figure out a solution for next year where I can get up to the top shelf, because I was actually going to use that top shelf to sell my bread on, and I would have the rest of the space for my garden and other baked goods that I'm selling. But honestly, I don't think it's going to be that big of a problem. I'm just was so used to it not having the wheels and tires on it from working on this for so long, that once we got the wheels and tires on it, it just feels so big to me. But I think eventually I'll get used to it, and maybe I'll just have to figure out adding more shelves later on just so I can get more space, because I know I can't reach that top shelf, which is totally fine. I can figure out a solution down the road to hopefully utilize that again. So you can see here that I put my cooler in there, so I have a cooler now to use for whatever I need to keep cool. And you can see the frame here that my husband welded together to put these wheels and tires on, and he just measured everything so perfectly, because we picked up this stand and we fed it right down into this frame so perfectly. I hope to never to have to take the stand off of this frame again, because it's so heavy, but the wheels and tires I'm sure will go flat eventually one day, and we'll have to replace them, but that'll be okay. So now that my farm stand is fully built, and now I just get to finish out doing my signs, figuring out how I'm going to place everything. This is just a little sketch right here, me playing around with my chalkboards. So I really need to do my cottage food laws on my labeling and going through all of that, making sure I'm doing everything correctly. And what's really cool about this stand is I can haul it down the driveway with the four-wheeler. I don't have to ask my husband to do it all the time. So I really like that, so I'm not bothering him all the time to be moving it. He does move it for me just because he loves to help me out. I just try not to ask him to do that for me, so I can just literally hook it up, go down my long driveway very easily. It just works out perfect. So I hope you guys liked this video today. Let me know what you guys think about my new farm stand. I hope 2026 is a great one, and I hope it blesses our family, and I just know I'm going to enjoy it so much because I'll be doing what I love. But thank you guys so much for watching today. I really appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you like my content. One thing about my content, I am all over the place. I love gardening, homemaking, decorating, so if you guys like all of that, subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. Again, thank you guys so much for watching today, and we will see you next week.